Hi everyone, it's Jess, aka Colouring Bumblebee, and I'm back today with another video for you. Today I am participating in the mid-year colouring freakout tag. This was originally created by Sassy Colouring over on YouTube and was recently updated this year by Kira over at Pictured Purpose on YouTube. She recently started a YouTube channel. She took the questions from Sassy Colouring and updated them a little bit to these 15 that I'm going to answer today. So I made a spread in my colouring journal answering all the questions. I did this a couple nights ago. And I will go straight into the first. First off, I will thank both Emily and Geordie for tagging me in this. I have them both tagged below. Thanks for the tag. I hope you enjoy watching this video. I definitely enjoyed watching yours, and I will be tagging some people at the end of mine. So the first question, how many pages have I coloured so far in 2024? I have coloured 148 pages, and I thought I would also add some other stats for my own personal interest. 46 of those 148 pages are colour by number pages, and 54 of those are buddy colour pages. So if you take the 46 away, that leaves you with 102 pages that I've coloured, and about half of them, 54, were buddy colours, which is amazing. I do love doing buddy colours a lot, and it helps me colour pages, colour more than I maybe usually would, colour pages I wouldn't necessarily attack on my own. Love doing buddy colours, so I'll definitely be continuing to do plenty of those. Question 2. How many books have I coloured so far in 2024? So I counted, I have been tracking my books on a spread in my journal here, and I have also recorded down how many pages I've coloured from each of those books. So according to this, bear in mind there may be a couple that I've missed off, but according to this, I've coloured in 64 books so far. 40 of those were previously untouched, so that's the majority of the books I coloured. Only 24 books are ones that I'd coloured before 2024. 40 of those were either untouched or new to me this year that I've coloured in. So that's a really interesting statistic for me. I wonder how many more I'll colour in by the end of the year. Question 3. What are some of my favourite colouring pages completed in 2024 so far? So I listed out 10. I went through my months of journals in my planner and picked 1 or 2 favourites from each month. I picked out 10. If you ask me a different day, it may be a different 10, but these are the ones that jumped out to me, and I will show you now. The first one. The first one is Mythic World. This page I coloured in January, and it is the Rainbow Serpent page. Now, I absolutely loved this. I had a specific vision in mind for the page, and it really did turn out exactly like I planned. I remember I based it with water-based brush markers and shaded over the top with polychromos pencils, and used a black paint pen for the background. I knew as soon as I saw this that I didn't want the serpent itself to be rainbow. I wanted it to be a dark, almost black colour, and I wanted these little circular oval motifs on it to be the rainbow colours for it. And yeah, it turned out exactly like I imagined it, and it's really satisfying to have a double page spread done in a book. So that's my first favourite of 2024. Next, I loved one I did in Cosmic Spirit. It was actually difficult to pick between the 2 that I'd coloured this year, but I ended up picking the Hermit. I just absolutely love how he turned out. I based it with alcohol markers, went over the top with Prismacolor Premier pencils. This is actually one of the first pages I used Prismacolors on, and I absolutely loved the vibrancy of it. And I added some metallic watercolour over the top. There's lots of shimmery shininess on it, which I love. The other page I coloured in this book this year was the Capricorn page, And this is also closely tied for my favourite. I do love how this came out. But maybe it's because I like purple more than I do like greens and blues. So, but yeah, I like them both from Cosmic Spirit. Then I have tarot colouring. This I did as a buddy colour. And it was the Tower. I just love how this turned out. I was really unsure how I wanted to colour this. So I actually ended up reading the description on the side, and it said these flowers were fireweed flowers. And after looking them up, they were this sort of bright fuchsia purple colour. So I used that as my main accent colour and sort of contrasted it with the goldy yellow colour. I sort of brought in that purple tone for the tower here, using a more purple tone grey, and added some beautiful metallic watercolour paint to the outside of the card, which I will keep this same gold throughout the book. But yeah, this page, I just loved colouring it, and it made me want to colour even more pages from this book, and it would be a lovely one to see completed one day. It's tarot colouring. Then I have Romantic Country, the Third Tale. This was also a buddy colour page. My favourite was the book study. This was quite an unusual colour palette for me, with the sort of bright jewel tone colours. I do like bright colours, but more often than not pastel tones. And yeah, I just absolutely love how this came out. Lots of shiny gold pen detailing on the books. And just looking at it, I feel really proud looking at it. I coloured this with Prismacolor Premier pencils. Another one of the first pages I coloured with the Prismacolors. Love that one. Then I have Fairy Wonderland, and if you ask me to pick just one favourite, it would probably be this one, and that is the Fairy Fox. This was a buddy colour with Amy Ward Art, and the version that she did is one of my favourite pages that she's ever coloured. I just thought they both turned out gorgeous. But yeah, this was quite a different colour palette for me. Sort of olivey greens, blues, oranges, peach. But I added lots of metallic watercolour over the top. You can see on the wings and on the circle details. Yeah, absolutely loved that one. I used alcohol markers to base, and then I went over the top and shaded with, I think, Prismacolor Premiers and Brut Fina Macarons to get some of those pastel shades. So yeah, this could quite possibly be my absolute favourite, but I couldn't just pick one. Then I have World Fairy Tales by Eerie, and my favourite page I coloured was this one, this Red Riding Hood page. I just loved the colour palette I used. I had a vision of using reds, pinks, blues, creams and greens, and it just turned out exactly how I wanted it to. I don't think I could colour it any better. And this is a project book with my lovely friend Megan from Disney Meg's Colouring. And yeah, another one that's closer to finishing the book. Another one of my favourites was this Snow White and Rose Red. But the thing that didn't make it so much of a favourite for me was the background didn't turn exactly like I wanted it to. I wanted it a bit more softer and paler. But I still absolutely love how the final result was. Just something about this Red Riding Hood page I absolutely loved. That was another one of my favourites from this year. Then we had the Polar Bears Adventure Cruise. This I also did as a buddy colour, and was this big spring forest party picnic page. And I just, doing double page spreads is something I don't do that often. And oh my gosh, I've just noticed I never coloured a teacup. Do you see that there? Yeah, there's a pink. That one's not coloured. That's so funny. I don't think I've ever done that where I've missed a section to colour. I'm going to need to keep that out and hopefully match these colours. I know I used a combination of Prismacolors and Polychromos. I'm pretty sure this pink colour combo was a Polychromos. So that will be easy enough to match. But yeah, absolutely love how this turned out. The colour palette is one of my favourites, sort of pastel colours. That was the Polar Bears Adventure Cruise. Then I have Minor Ice Dutch Asian, another buddy colour this one was, and it is the Swan Boats. Another page that Turned out exactly like I pictured it. Lots of glitter gel pen details on the top to add a bit of sparkle and shine. And I used Black Widows for this page. And yeah, it seems to be a theme of pages where they turn out how I picture in my head seem to be the ones that I like the most. Then the penultimate favourite page of mine is this Mushroom Fairy Girls page. I just love the colour palette I used. This was a buddy colour as well. I love the purples and the sort of periwinkle blues and pinks. And of course some glitter gel pens on top. This I used polychromos. And yeah, another one of my favourites. And the final favourite page I picked out was one from Mythic World Summer. And it is this panda eating watermelon page. I love the bright, vibrant colours I used. Based it with alcohol markers and shaded with polychromos. And another one that turned out just like I imagined it would. I really love the bright yellow background and how it contrasts with the blue water. Yeah, love, love, love this one. So I definitely have a lot of favourites from this year. Moving on to the next question. What are my least favourite completed pages from 2024? This was definitely harder to pick from, and I only found 3 pages that I didn't really like. Or I should say I wasn't completely happy with. The first one is from Disney Princess's Colour by Number book. And I dislike this one because the pen ran out and it's super streaky on her skin, and I tried to match it with a different colour pen and it was just completely the wrong colour, so she's got this super dark neck. Yeah, dislike that one. One of my least favourite pages is in that book. Another one that I don't hate this page, but it's just not my favourite and I would definitely colour it differently if I did it again, is this Chocolate Milkshake Cow. As soon as I finished colouring it, I realised I should have done it as Strawberry Milkshake Cow, and that would have looked so much cuter and better. And just the browns I had for my alcohol markers weren't quite the right shade of browns. They kind of have a greenish tone to them, especially the lighter brown. And it's just not my favourite, but that's okay. Not all of them can be, and it's a page done. That was from 50 Desserts Miniatures. And then this last one, I don't dislike, but I don't love it. And it is the Book Belongs To page. I was just disappointed with the background. It looks a lot smoother on camera, but in real life it's quite streaky. I wish I had just coloured it one colour with the alcohol marker rather than trying to blend it out. And yeah, the rest of the page, the colour choices, they don't excite me. It's just not my favourite, one of my least from the year so far. Okay, moving on to a more happier question. What is your most coloured book of 2024? And that one is easy. It is Disney Vitro Colour by Number. This I got this year. I believe it was in March or February, someone like that. And I have coloured 19 pages so far in this book. So I will show you all of those. I have done Rapunzel, Ariel. This was the first page I coloured, and that was start of February. I got this. Then I have Pocahontas and Ariel. I did these one day after the other. One's on the 16th of May, the other the 17th of May. As after I finished the Pocahontas, I enjoyed that, so I wanted to move on to the next one. I did Lucifer. This Luca page. This one I decided to not do the black outlines to see how it would look. And I definitely prefer adding the black outlines at the end for that finishing touch, but I wanted to keep this as is just to see the difference. I've got Eeyore, Super cute. Oh, there we go, Turning Red. I think this is one of my favourites from the book. I just love the bright colours of that one. Sully. I definitely want to do Mike next to it. Minnie Mouse. We've got Louisa and Mirabelle from Encanto. These are ones that I coloured them on the same day actually, where after I coloured one, I just had to do the next one. Captain Hook. Bambi as an adult. I was not sure about the colours of this one, but it's done. And it was the colours they gave. Penelope, another one of my favourites. Love the bright colours on that one. Winnie the Pooh. Super cute. And then the final one I've got done in here is Young Anna and Elsa. So yeah, this is one of those books that I like to colour in when my mood is low. I just pick some colours, and something about doing the little squares of these is just so satisfying. Easy, quick to do, and then I do the black outlines with a fine liner pen at the end, and it just gives it this really nice, clean, finished look. So that's my most coloured book. But I thought I'd also show my most coloured book that is not a colour by number, because I do see them differently when I do my colouring. Colour by numbers is for relaxing, de-stressing. It's not going to be my best work. I just use water-based markers. They're streaky, that's fine. I use it for mental health purposes mainly, and just for the fun of it. But for colouring books, I have two, which was the most coloured in. First one being Kawaii Tarot, and the second one being Erie's Wild Fairy Tales, and in each of these I coloured 5 pages this year. So let me see if I can find them. This was most recently in this book. I did the Cinderella ball gown page. This book is a project book with Megan from Disney Meg's Colouring, and we have been doing it since last year, so almost every month. I think we skipped January. Almost every month we have coloured a page in this, so we've done 5 so far this year. Luckily, I date my pages, kind of for this purpose. We've already seen this one, the Red Riding Hood page, as well as the Snow White and Rose Red page. Thumbelina page, oh, another one of my favourites from this year. Love the bright colours of that one. And is that it? Oh no, we got the Easter egg page. We did this for March at Easter time. Yeah, I've got quite a few done in this book now. So that was one of the most coloured books of this year. And the other one was Kawaii Tarot. I coloured 5 pages in this. I'll start with the Major Arcana pages, which I have been colouring in order. So I did the High Priestess. This was in January. I did the Empress. Coloured that in March. And the most recent one, the Emperor, I coloured in June. And then finding the ones from the back, I did the Queen of Swords last month. And these ones, these Minor Arcana cards at the back, all of them have been buddy colours so far, which has been really fun to colour them with someone else, whilst I do the ones at the front by myself. And the Knight of Wands as well. So those are the 5 pages I've coloured so far this year in Kawaii Tarot. We will be seeing this book later on in the video. So, next question. What is my most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I had a few books written down for this. First one being Mythical Beasts. That is being released later this month. I believe it's the 16th of July. I have pre-ordered the book from Blackwell's because I don't trust Amazon anymore with pre-orders. I pre-ordered Fairy Wonderland from Amazon, as I was really excited for that book, and it took well over a month for me to receive it. It became unavailable the day I was supposed to receive it. It was really frustrating, so I'm trying out Blackwell's this time. And Blackwell's also releases the same date as they do in the US, whereas on Amazon in the UK, for some reason, they released the mythographics a month later. So that's a bit frustrating. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to some mythographic mythical beasts. I'll pop pictures of the screen of these books whilst I'm talking. I'm also looking forward to the mythographic Magical Apothecary and the Rainbow Realms. I'm interested in seeing some flip-throughs maybe of those before I go ahead and purchase them. I'm also really looking forward to Johanna Basford's Magical Worlds. I absolutely loved Small Victories, Rooms of Wonder, Worlds of Wonder. All of her books are just stunning, and I know that Magical Worlds will be right up my alley as well. I am looking forward to, there is a new Japanese book in the Tokimeku series, the sort of long rectangular books, if you know what I'm on about. You know, like the Wild Mouse Yururi ones. There's another one coming out for that, and it is... I'll put a picture on screen of what they've released so far. They haven't got a cover for it, but translating it, it sounds to be something about like stuffed animals. It looks really cute. Can't wait for that. That's going to be released in August. And the final book I'm really looking forward to is Maria Troll's Sagan book. And this is being released in, I think, October time, if I'm correct, or November, someone later this year. And I haven't seen people talking about it that much. But this is a new Maria Troll book that is based on fairy tales. And knowing her art style and knowing how much I love to colour fairy tales, I cannot wait for this one. So that is the last book I'm really looking forward to getting later this year. Question 7. Have I tried any new techniques this year? So I've tried a few, and they're not necessarily new techniques, but new ways of using mediums I've already got. So for the first thing I have is using Inktense as a pencil to fully colour a page rather than just for a background, which I've used them in the past for. And you can see that with my Alien Worlds book. I am going to challenge myself to use Inktense primarily for this book. This page was coloured entirely with Inktense, no pencil shading on top, just a bit of glitter and silver gel pen on top. And I am currently working on the Lost Paradise. And again, this is all completely Inktense, and I love the look of it. There's a lot of depth and detail without me feeling the need to go over the top with pencil shading. But yeah, I've sort of stalled a bit with this page as I've done all the big sections of colour, and now I've got to decide what colours I want to do for the rest of the things. So that is the first technique that I have explored more this year. Then the other one is shading with alcohol markers. And that I have been mainly using in my Camellia Angel Cova books. So you can see it here with the mermaid. I coloured this entirely with alcohol markers. This is a weird thing, but I love how it looks on the back. It looks like even more detailed because you haven't got the black outlines. It has this sort of like really nice painterly look. But yeah, that's the mermaid that I coloured just with alcohol markers, no pencil shading on top like I sometimes do. So I've been really trying to expand my alcohol marker usage. And then the other one was in 50 Woodland Miniatures. I know it's near the back. There we go. This bunny collecting blueberries page. I also did completely with alcohol markers, shading as well. As you can see from the back, we've got all this fun shading going on. So that is definitely something that I want to continue working on this year. And especially in these books, it's really easy to... I'll give you a sneak peek of another page I've done here. Ta-da! And that was also using just alcohol markers. I do love using pencils on top, but I like to try something different and using alcohol markers for the whole page. It's really fun. Okay, is there any colouring book that I regret buying this year? And to that I say no. From this year, I do tend to be really thoughtful and mindful with the books that I purchase. I am not one that has a huge colouring book collection. I've got a pretty sizable one now, but it's been slowly built over time. I've got around 140 books at the moment, which to a non-colorist sounds like a lot, but to us in the colouring community we know is not. It's a reasonable size collection. And that's because I try not to just buy without thinking, am I going to colour in this? Will I enjoy colouring in this? Do I want it for just the art style? I do try to be mindful about what I choose. But when I first started, I was just excited to find a colouring book in a shop. Magical Jungle was my first colouring book, and that I found in B&M. And along with that, I found Millie Marotta's Woodland Wild, and I got so excited I picked it up, and I've just never coloured in it. It's not my style. It's these sort of animals with lots of patterns in, and I really love the artwork. It's absolutely beautiful, but for me in colouring and what I want from it, it's not something that I want to colour in it. I don't think it's something I'll ever colour in. There's been a couple times where I thought, oh, maybe I could do it just with like water-based markers, and colouring in each of these little sections might be fun and sort of mindful activity. But when I think about colouring this, I think I'd much rather colour in any of my other books, and I'd rather spend the time I have for colouring on them rather than something that I'm not so fond on. So this is one of those books. I'm thinking of destashing it, still not quite sure, but that's Woodland Wild, probably one of the only books I regret buying. Okay, moving on to a more exciting question in my opinion. What colouring books do I want to finish? So I kept this aside to talk about, and it is Kawaii Tarot. I would love to have this book completed. I am working my way slowly through the major arcana by myself, and as I said earlier, the minor arcana cards in the back I have been doing as buddy colours, and this is something that I really would love to complete one day. It's something I can see myself completing. I love every single page, and I like how a lot of these are smaller. When I do count these pages, I am counting each of these images as one page. So with this double page, we've got 4. I include that each image as a page, just because I would class that as done. Like I've done with ones that I've already coloured where they're the smaller images, I've classed that as one completed page. I wouldn't wait until I've finished the other half of the image to class it as a completed page. I just count that one. But yeah, this is potentially something that I might want to focus on for next year. I think it will depend on how many I have. So yeah, here, that's one completed page. It will depend on how many I'll have actually completed by the end of the year. It will depend on what I actually want to do. Whether I'll set it as a hard goal for the following year or not, we'll see. But that is one colouring book I'd love to complete. And another one I'd love to complete is this one, Colouring Book for a Bright Day Together. This is a book where I've only actually coloured one page so far in it. Where is it? It's in this front section, I know for sure. There we go, the little cat friends underneath the umbrella. I do have a whip in it at the moment. This kitchen page, I've done this sort of top section here. But this is a book I would love to colour every page, and I think it would be a fun goal to do one every month. It will take me a couple years to complete, but is something that I would like to see done one day. Yeah, so many cute pages in here, and I find it really like mindless colouring because you've got these pages on the left and I just copy the colours, and it's a really interesting way for me to explore different colour combinations. Like with the umbrella page, I don't often colour with these sort of muted tones, but it was really fun to explore that. So that is another one I'd like to complete, not for this year, but in the future. Of course, there are also all my project books that I would love to complete one day, but those I will save to show you on another video of where I'm at with them. I'm planning on releasing that soon, showing the mid-year check-in of all of my project books and how many pages I've done in there. Thought that would be a fun one. Okay, next question. What uncolored books do I want to colour in by the end of the year? So many. Basically all of my uncolored books I want to colour in by the end of the year. But it does feel unrealistic to say to have all of those books as ones I want to colour in by the end of the year. I believe I've got around 40 so far, not including any new books I purchased for the second half of the year. But these are the stack of books that I found that jumped out to me as ones I want to colour in as soon as I can. We've got the Fairy Tales book in the Tokimeku colouring book series. I absolutely love this one. It's one of my favourites from this Japanese colouring book series. I love colouring fairy tales, and these are all super, super cute. And I've pulled it out so many times to colour in, and you've probably heard me pull it out or seen me pull it out on my channel before to be like, this is the month I'm colouring in it, and I just never get around to it, and I need to. That's at the very, very top of my list. Then I also have Erie's World Literature. I also have the Other World series of books, so the World Heritage and the World Legends. I also haven't coloured pages in those, but this was the book that I picked out for the one I want to colour in the most. There's so many pages in here I absolutely adore. I've seen Geordie is doing this as a project book with Kate's Colouring Haven and Julianne Annette Art. And it has been really inspiring for me to get into this one. But that's another one. Then I've got both of Kunoko Agusa's books that I have, Kingdom of Curious Creatures, an absolutely gorgeous book that I just haven't got around to colouring yet. I'm a little intimidated by it, but I love the images. They are so sweet, but definitely detailed and would definitely take a while. Same with Symphony of Cute Animals. I do have a whip started in here. I started that in Halloween last year, and I will definitely be returning to that this year for Halloween. But yeah, another book with full of adorable images that I'd love to colour. Just haven't managed to start yet. R.J. Hampson's Serendipity is another one I'd love to colour. This is one of those books with duplicates with a difference in, so you got the black background set at the back. I love all of these pages. I've been focusing my attention on the Lost and Found book, because that's a project book I'm doing with Dana at Dabbler D. So I just haven't found the time to colour in this one, which is really sad. I want to get that done. Similarly with Mini Mania Volume 2, spent all my colouring time on the first volume, but I just haven't got around to starting the second one. I could literally pick any of these pages to colour. In fact, I do have one as a whip that I started when I first got the book. Did a bit of alcohol marker basing, this one. And I did all the leaves and the yellow for the bees. Really enjoyed that. And then I just wasn't sure what colour to do the flowers. And I still have no idea what colour to do the flowers, but this will be an easy page to do once I pick the colour for the flowers. Maybe I'll find a colour palette with my colour cubes. In fact, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll have a look for that after I finish this video. So Mini Mania 2, I'd love to get a page done. And the last one I selected was Lunar Colouring. This is a book by Stratton Peterson. I have all three of their books, and they are absolutely stunning. And I always love how my finished pages turn out with these. So another one I definitely want to colour in sometime soon before the end of the year. Okay, next question. Question 11. What colouring book is at the top of my wish list? At the moment, there is one that comes to mind that is at the very top, but it's just slightly more expensive than the usual colouring books that I tend to buy, and that is Magical Woodland by Kate Pellerin. I think this is super cute. I've seen it featured on a lot of people's channels, and I can't wait to get my hands on it, so that is definitely at the top of my wish list. Of course, all of these books that I already mentioned that are upcoming releases are at the top as well, but I didn't count them for this question because I've already talked about them. Question 12, what colouring supplies are at the top of my wish list? So I split this up into pencils and others. So my next budget pencils I'd like to get are the Artex pencils. I've heard great things about them. And my next, what would you call, sort of artist quality, more professional, more expensive pencils I'd like to get next would be the Luminance. They are stunning. I would love to get them. They are my next sort of goal pencil set. Realistically, I will get the Artex next and then maybe save up for the Luminance. And also Inktense. I'd like to keep building my collection. I think I've got about 40 pencils so far, and just filling in those gaps of some colours that I don't have. For other supplies, I really love to get the Neocolor 2s. I love them, the sort of water-based medium and the effects that you can create for backgrounds for that, as well as the opal watercolours to give that sort of iridescent effect. I love putting an iridescent watercolour over the top of wings, and it would be great to have a few different colours of that, because the one that I have at the moment is like a pinky green, and it'd be great to have a variety of colours to use for different pages. Okay, I'm going to bring my colouring journal back for the last few questions. Question 13, what pencils have I used the most? So I wrote this down as Polychromos or Prismacolors, and after I wrote that down I thought it'd be interesting to go back through and count through my pages of how many times I've used each. And for the Polychromos I've used them on 31 different pages, and the Prismacolors I've used on 28, so they are definitely pretty much neck and neck. I love using them both for different things. They are both wonderful pencil sets, and I definitely recommend getting both of them. If I had to pick one over the other, it would be the Polychromos, but that's mainly because they're cheaper and easier to get in the UK, and I've spent more time with them, so I know the pencils more than I do the Prismas. I'm still learning how to use them properly. Question 14, my favourite adult colouring channels. Now, I could list a whole page of adult colouring channels that I absolutely love watching, but these were the ones that popped into my head whilst I was writing these questions out. Karen at My Colourful Country Life, I absolutely love her. Megan at Disney Meg's Colouring, Erica at Elm Colours, Zoe at Addicted to Colouring, Kira at A Pictured Purpose, Geordie at Geordie Colours, Yolanda at Colouring Bike Mama, and Amy at Amy Ward Art. I absolutely love all of these channels, and there are so many more others that I love out there that I just didn't include here. But they know that I love them because I comment and say how much I enjoy their videos, so there's so many. I was almost tempted not to answer that question, but I wanted to put some out there. In case they're channels you hadn't heard of and wanted to check them out, I will definitely link them in the comments below. Finally, question 15. What are my colouring goals for the rest of 2024? So I came up with 3. First one, I want to colour in more untouched books. My goal, this is a bit of a stretch, I'm not sure if I will manage this, is to have less than 25%, so less than a quarter of my books are untouched. That is my goal. Currently I'm at around a third of my books are untouched. I want to get that down to a quarter. My second goal is to upload at least 1 video a week. My videos are a bit sporadic because it's when I feel like filming. Some weeks you'll have multiple, another week you won't have any, or 1 a week. I'd like to sort of spread it out at least 1 a week, maybe 2. So that's another goal. And the final one is a more fun one, and it is to complete the Lost Paradise section in Alien Worlds. So I will show you that. So this is Alien Worlds, and I have been colouring this due to Candice, Happy Catastrophe, who is hosting a group chat over on Instagram where we are colouring this, preferably in order, but it doesn't matter if you don't do it in order. I have skipped some of these pages, but we have different planets in this book. The first one being the Lost Paradise, which most of us are exploring at the moment. And this is the first page of that. So I would like to colour this whole section by the end of the year. They are definitely complicated pages that take a while to colour, but it's technically only 2, 4, 6, 8 pages per section, so it's doable. But yeah, I haven't coloured this for quite a while. I started this, got a lot done in one go, and I've had it abandoned for quite a while now. But yeah, that is my final goal. And I will leave this book here whilst I do the outro. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will tag Zoe at Addicted to Colouring, Amy at Amy Ward Art, and I'm trying to think of who hasn't done it yet. I'm going to say Yana from Colour and Create with Yana. If she has done it, I apologise. The other 2 I know definitely haven't, but those are 3 I would love to see you complete this tag. If you do, make sure to tag me, tag Kira at Picture Purpose and Sassy Colouring as the creators of the hashtag, and let me know down in the comments below your answer to the question. I'm going to pick one question, and it is going to be, what colouring book is at the top of your wish list? For this one, you're only allowed to pick one. So that's a challenge. I know we have very long wish lists, but see what is the absolute number 1. It may be a simple book that you've wanted for a while, a new one that's coming out soon, or something that's a little more expensive that you can't quite justify getting yet, but you would really love to add. So let me know in the comments below what your answer to that question is, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.